Now, as you come up, let me just say a few things about why we're working with the senses like this. So in Hunger, Hope, and Healing, we understand that the senses, as with all people, not only in Hunger, Hope, and Healing, but the senses can really drive us to that reaction or craving or clinging or grasping. The senses can cause us to go outwards to try to get needs met by things like food or exercise and so on, when actually there's an inward place to meet our needs. At the same time, the senses can also cause aversion. In yoga, we call this raga, I'm reaching out, and aversion, I'm pushing away. And aversion for the senses, we've probably spent some time having aversion towards ourself with our senses. What we look like, what we sound like, what we're smelling, what we're tasting, who we are. Shame does that. It shifts our lens on ourselves so greatly that even our senses turned inwards can sometimes generate this feeling of shame or unfamiliarity or dis-ease. So we're trying to really relax the senses right now to reduce craving and also to reduce aversion or shame, even to ourselves. And since the senses are so fast acting, we actually have to kind of have a relationship with the senses where we can slow them down, and it helps to slow down our brain and our body as well. Thanks, you guys, for coming. Thank you for being here for yoga practice. This is a time for us to feel connected to our bodies and more renewed for our minds and hearts. We are going to use 2 blankets for practice today, so I'd like you to have these. And please take one of these blankets and unfold it so it's long like this. And then roll this blanket so that as you're rolling it, you're going to have a long, narrow blanket roll like this. And then place that down your mat horizontally. And take the second blanket. And as it's folded in some fashion like this, fold it from here into thirds. So you go 1, 2, 3. And place that on your mat so that it goes down the mat lengthwise. The reason being, you're going to want to have space on either side of this blanket for your arms. And then we're going to lie back like this. So the blanket roll goes under the middle of your shoulder blades. And that means that when you're resting on the blanket, the high point on the chest is going to be the sternum. It also means that your shoulders are not likely already touching the floor. They're probably rolling back towards the floor, but not quite touching. You can take the arms out into a T shape. And then please close your eyes. And relax the space right between your eyebrows. Start allowing the events of the day to wash away. So your forehead, your eyebrows, the corners of the eyes, they can all deeply relax. Allow the eyes themselves to relax back into their sockets. And for the eyelids to drape gently over your eyes with no additional pressure. And begin to relax the space right behind your eyes. On purpose, allow the eyes to be more and more relaxed. Now picture from where the eyes are in the head that we actually interpret our sight more at the hindbrain. So relax now, not only right behind the eyes, but picture that relaxation moving more and more deeply through your brain and therefore through your mind. Invite the back of your head to be heavy with relaxation. You are even welcome to imagine that you're kind of gazing inwardly towards the brainstem, towards the back of your head. As you relax your eyes and the sense of sight is turned inward, let's offer the same to all of the other senses. Relax your ears and listen more inwardly. You could sense the scent, the fragrance nearby might be neutral, might be pleasant or non-pleasant. And that too is interpreted deeper inside your brain and not actually at the nose. And soften your tongue, noticing or acknowledging any taste that's on the tongue right now. Now let's stretch the legs out one at a time. And keeping your senses inward. So there's a real feeling of like taking refuge right now in your yoga practice. And just sweep the arms overhead towards the space behind you. Hopefully the way you folded your blanket means there's no limitation for the arms to go overhead. Breathe in as you reach through both arms into the fingertips. And then exhale and slide the arms back down to the side as if the arms were like a snow angel. Now inhale, raise both arms up towards the ceiling like you're sleepwalking. Exhale, both arms overhead towards the wall behind you. Inhale, reach long through the arms. And exhale, bring your arms down to a T shape. Inhale, raise your arms. Exhale, overhead. Inhale, reach from your heart to your fingertips and thumbs. And exhale, arms wide out to a T shape. As you come out like that, relax the back of your hands to the floor, relax the back of the shoulders to the floor. Let the elbows get heavy on the ground. And then turn your head to your left as far as it comfortably goes. Reach your right arm out to the side as far as it comfortably goes. Spread your fingers wide, open the right thumb. And then exhale, relax the right arm down, rotate your nose to center. Turn your nose to your right as far as it comfortably goes. Inhale, reach the left arm long. Spread the fingers wide. And exhale, lower the left arm down, rotate your head back to center. And then just take notice. It's only a few minutes of unwinding neurologically. Notice what's happening now with your eyes. Gaze towards the back of the brain. What's happening now with your ears? Listening inside. And what's happening with smell and taste? And then please bend each knee, place your feet flat on the floor. We'll do one more thing in this position. Let's tip both knees. Now, keeping the knees wide like your feet are, tip both knees down to your right. And turn your head to your left. So this is a spine twist with the blanket under the upper back. Reach the left arm long, reach your right arm long. Rotate your head on purpose to your left. Reach both knees on purpose to the right and towards the far end of your yoga mat. Now breathe in again, please. And exhale, return your knees and your feet, your hips and your head to center. Let's take both knees down to the left. Turn your head as far as it comfortably goes to your right. Reach through your right arm. And deliberately lengthen through both thighs into your knees. And as you're breathing in and breathing out through the nose, keep the body active, but not with exertion. Just a gentle sense of tone. And then again, exhale and come back to center. And one more time, I'd like us just to check in and notice, what is it like to have, like you're unwinding the senses, unwinding the neurological map of the body and the brain? What is it like for your eyes just now? And your ears? And the sense of smell or taste? And the sense of touch? And then please roll to your side. We're going to come up to sitting. So let's take this blanket now and turn it for your head to be this way. And this rolled up blanket, I'm going to ask you to to kneel and then bring this blanket right up onto your thighs. Now, how thick this blanket is, you're going to have to adjust it for yourself. So I'm going to unwind mine a little ways because you want it to be just the space that you need. Let me make mine more snug. So just the space that you need between your floating ribs and your hip bones. And then you press the blanket down, come over to child's pose so that your head can comfortably rest on the blanket that's in front of you. And it would be totally fine if for some of you, you need to like fold this blanket one more time. You can improvise, fold it so your head has more support like I was just showing there. Now, of course, we have extra pressure on the belly right now from the blanket. So see if you can breathe into the sides of your waist, the back of your waist. And can you breathe a little more slowly without any sense of urgency for the inhale? And notice the sensations of the blanket and your breath and your body. And then place your hands on the floor, palms face down under your shoulders. Press down against the floor. Rise up to kneeling. And let's notice now the absence of those strong sensations of the blanket. And then the freshness of sensation, like the circulation coming back into the belly, back into the abdomen. And that circulation is just so important for the organs of digestion and metabolism. So notice it's still happening. Circulation is returning into the abdomen. We'll do this one more time. So you make the blanket snug, come up over the edge of the blanket so that it's not bothering your floating ribs. And you can place your forehead on a blanket or two or three. Hopefully the elbows comfortably reach the floor. And of course, some of the sensations are going to be quite strong here. So notice how you accommodate yourself in a position like this. Are you able to soften your mind and your breath, the hinge of your jaw, and also the deep inner belly? And then once more, place your hands underneath your shoulders. Press down to bring yourself upright. Notice the absence of sensations of the blanket on the abdomen, and now the presence of sensation in the form of circulation into the abdomen. Okay, and we'll continue kind of unwinding the nervous system here through the process of the upper body, neck and shoulders. Let's put the blanket aside unless you'd like the blanket to be there for your knees, which of course is totally fine. You can do it that way. And then please come to your hands and knees. This is called table pose. Step your right hand well forward of your left hand. Press your fingerprints and your thumbprint down. And as you reach your hips back, come into this kind of one arm puppy dog pose here. Draw the hips back and lengthen the right side of your waist. Relax the weight of your head. Now, as you sense the breath, what you can do is close your eyes and imagine that you're visualizing the pathway of the breath through the nose, into your lungs, into your body. We're hearing the sound of the breath coming in, going out. Even though it's a very slight whisper, you can still hear that. And then also feeling the breath moving in the inner body. Seeing, hearing, feeling. Let the breath and the body slow down together. And press down into your left hand and float your right hand back to table pose. And then walk the left hand well forward of your right. Touch your right elbow down. Press your left palm firmly down as you relax the weight of your head. As you're breathing in, slow down the nature of the breath here. You're watching it move, maybe like a tranquil river in the body. Listen to the sound of the breath, even though it's likely a gentle whisper. And feel where the breath is moving and at what pace. And press down into your right hand, return your left hand to table pose. And again, for a moment, sit back to kneeling or any other comfortable seat. Come back to a place where you can sense now some sensations are ending and other sensations are arriving. But deeply relax your eyes, your nose, your tongue, your ears, the skin of your body. You know, when we take the arm overhead like that, one of the benefits is what it does to your thoracic muscles here, the pec minor and pec major, and also what it does for the diaphragm. Let's now do a similar kind of process for the psoas muscle. So you can put a blanket down on your mat to support your knees if you need one, and then step your right foot forward and come down to your fingertips on either side of your right ankle. It's also fine to put both hands on the inside of your right ankle if you prefer that. And as you're coming down, we do want the right shin to be mostly vertical here, and the hips can ease towards the floor. Lengthen your tailbone back towards your left heel. And notice any stretch that you can connect with at the left hip flexors or even your left psoas. Now in this gentle breath, notice if you could imagine watching the breath move through the nose, down to the lungs, into your body where it's most needed. And feel into the sensations of the breath moving in your body and the muscles receiving that nourishment. And then glide your hips back until your left shin is more or less perpendicular to the floor. Walk your right hand up to your right knee, press down and rise up to kneeling. Step the right knee down, momentarily come to kneeling. This is called Badrasana, this particular pose. Vajra means the lightning bolt pose. See if you can sense energy being released, like a lightning bolt has a certain amount of energy. The psoas muscle is often holding very strong memories and reflexes and impulses. Let's stretch the other side. So come up to your knees, step your left foot forward and come down to your fingertips. You could put the fingertips on the outside of the left foot or on the inside. And of course, the right fingertips go under the right shoulder. It's also totally fine to put a couple of yoga blocks under your hands here. And then listen for the breath moving in your body. You can picture as if you're watching the breath move, almost like a river moving through nature. To slow down the breath, also encourage the mind to slow down. And one more breath cycle, feeling into where your body is receiving this nourishing practice. And place your left hand up on your left knee, right hand up on your left knee if you like. And as you lift up, bring your right thigh to vertical again, step the left shin down and come down to kneeling. And notice one more time. Where are your senses and what is their pace right now? Yeah, and then let's take this blanket to sit on. So you can fold it like you're going to sit in meditation posture. We're going to be sitting cross-legged. So if you need a little bit extra support for that, please provide that for yourself. So one of the things we say about yoga practice is that it is a cleansing practice. You're having the chance to give your body a sense of cleansing, but also for the senses, they are getting a cleansing. And as well for your digestive organs. I put this one aside. So now, seated twists are something that we use a lot in the summer, in the pitta season, because when pitta takes over, the kind of craving that we have can feel kind of ferocious or urgent. You know, pitta's craving is like right now and or yesterday, and pretty quickly, and if it's not happening, we can become agitated about it. At the same time, pitta's aversion shows up as irritation, frustration, resistance. And one way that we reduce pitta in its flare in the body is by doing seated twisting poses. So that fire lives in the mid-torso. We want to help it to be a right-sized fire. So as you sit cross-legged like this, bring your left hand across to your right knee and your right hand around behind you. And as you're twisting to your right, look over your right shoulder. Close the eyes. And imagine again that you're watching the pathway of the breath. From when it enters the nostrils and it goes through your nose, down into your lungs, and imagine it going to the places that your body needs it right now, the places of nourishment. And then exhale and unwind. Even if your twist wasn't your most comfortable twist, unwind to come around forward. Notice there was a squeeze during the twist. There's a release after the twist. And cross your right hand over your left knee. And as you twist to your left, look over your left shoulder. Of course, it's possible that you have aversion to your body in a yoga pose, right? That you end up feeling maybe aversion towards a place that is stiff or seems limited. And again, pitta can do that with a sense of irritation. So let me recommend that we practice reducing that irritability of pitta and come into acceptance or appreciation with the body. And breathe in one more time, a slow, nourishing breath. And then exhale and come around to face forward. And again, observe after the squeeze or after the compression, what is the release? And then keeping your left foot in close, take the right leg out to the side. This is called Janusir Sasana when we sit like this. Okay, yeah, good. And when you're sitting like this, try to keep both sitting bones kind of equally weighted here. Rotate your torso to your right, and then raise the left arm and reach out over your right leg as you come down. You want that reach to be comfortable for your whole body. So it doesn't mean that you have to make it all the way to your foot. You might touch your foot. You may not touch the foot. Yoga isn't in the destination, it's in the journey. Let's keep the spine lengthened so we're not making a turtle shape of the spine. Lift the base of your skull, lengthen through the crown of your skull. As you're breathing in and breathing out through the nose, imagine again you're following the pathway of the breath as if you were following a river in nature. And breathe in one more time. And then raise back up to where you began and fold your right leg in and your left leg out. Same side. I've been doing a lot of gardening, which is so wonderful. And it means that there's some muscles that are tight that I didn't know about until practicing this particular pose. And that might be happening for you also, which is completely understandable and fine. So rotate your torso to your left, reach with the right arm. And again, you may be somebody who holds your foot easily, or your foot might be kind of far away. As you come down, try to keep the spine lengthened. So you're going to lift the base of the skull and reach through the crown of your skull. Now, as you're breathing, imagine again you're following the breath in the body like following a river in nature. You may notice that your body is very responsive to the breath and that some ease comes breath to breath, but there's no need for you to push your pose to go any bit deeper. We're practicing appreciation and acceptance, not a kind of overly determined attitude in the yoga. And then inhale, raise up. and return to your seat. Okay, bring the left foot back in, whatever that is for you. That's the most comfortable place to sit as for meditation. Come back to your seat and notice, after the squeezing of the forward bend, what is the release now? Okay, now placing your left hand on the floor nearby to the side of your mat. And it's okay to put a block or a blanket here if you need that to be the case. Raise your right arm up and side bend to your left. Please keep the right hip grounded. And as you stretch the side body here, think of it like a deliberate sort of C curve. Right? So it's not that we're slouching over to the left, but we are not making a specific straight line. It's okay to have a little curve. So the right side waist is more open than the left side waist. And then let's inhale, raise back up and relax. Now notice that on one side of your body you had a squeeze, on the left side, on the other you had an expansion. What is it like to come back to center? And inhale, raise your left arm up. Walk your right hand down to the floor or to a block or a blanket on your right as you side bend. Please try to keep your left hip grounded. So you're temporarily closing the right side of the torso, opening the left side. Follow your breath with your eyes inside the body as if you're following a river in nature. And then inhale, raise up with your left arm, relax, and one more time, come to the seat where you're just reflecting on what happens after the compression. And now shift onto your back side, please. And when you come down to your back, you can have your blankets somewhere nearby. You don't need them for the pose, but they can be within reach. As you lie on your back, please put your feet so they're hip distance apart or a little bit wider, and also bend the knees. Tuck each shoulder blade under the heart. Press down into your heels and your toes, and as you lift your tailbone, come up to bridge pose. In bridge pose, we further press the shoulders down. So once you're rising up, press firmly down through the backs of your shoulders, the backs of your arms. If the palms are face down, press firmly down through your palms. As you're breathing in and breathing out through the nose, keep it simple. So your stamina is not something that comes from robust, over-efforted breathing, but rather from consistent, focused breathing. And then exhale and roll your spine down, release your shoulders and your shoulder blades. Come onto your back. And notice again, after some compression in some part of the body, in this case the back body, there's going to be a release. What is that like for you? And let's go one more time, then up into bridge pose. So press into your heels and toes. Raise up through your chest and your heart. Lift the tailbone, shoulders under. As you raise your heart and lengthen your tailbone, don't exploit the lower back. So any sense of the lower back being exploited or crunchy would mean that maybe the upper back needs a little more flexibility, or that the back of the pelvis or hamstrings needs more strength. So no exploiting. Breathe in deeply. And then exhale and roll yourself down. And once more, we're going to notice what is happening as you relax the arms and the upper back after the activation. What comes next? Now let's take each blanket, and though you're lying on your side, it might be awkward to do. See if you can sort it out. You take the blanket and you roll the blanket on the short side. And that's going to become the blanket for the knee to go into Badrasana. So you take the other blanket and you roll. It doesn't have to be perfect, but they could be more symmetrical, not less symmetrical. Place it down. And then put the soles of the feet together so that what happens is the soles of the feet are together and the two blankets support your outer thighs and your outer shins. Now, the closer the blankets are to you, the more support they offer sooner. That means that your knees might be a little bit higher, rather than if the blankets are quite far out, the knees will either seem unsupported or not supported soon enough. And let's take the arms out to the side. Let's do the palms face up, please. Close your eyes. And again, bring your senses inward. So your sight is kind of going back behind the eyes, back towards the base of the skull. Invite yourself to listen within and to relax the sense of smell and the sense of taste. When we have a relationship with our senses, we can feel sooner and respond more wisely when there is either craving or clinging, or aversion or resistance. So rest your gaze inward, relax your eyes very deeply. Allow the ears to be at ease. Soften the nose and your tongue. Observe all of the sensations of your body happening from the landscape of witnessing, allowing, accepting, even appreciating. Begin to sense layer by layer, more and more deeply relaxed senses will also mean a more and more deeply relaxed body. This will help you in more and more deeply relaxing your mind. As your mind and your senses give you permission for even deeper relaxation, allow that to be like when a sponge is soaking in the water. Allowing the senses to stay inward as if they were like stones that have been dropped into the pond and they go down to the bottom. Invite your mind to be deeply still. And slowly wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Let's take the legs and go straight out on the floor. And then get very still once more. Now notice after the Baddha Konasana with the legs, you're going to have a gentle sense of warming that goes down the legs towards your feet. Let the mind observe this with affection and appreciation. This is called the Final Shavasana when we lie flat like this. Now I'd like you to wiggle the feet in circles and let those circles bring some gentle movement to the whole body. So you could take the circles symmetrically, or they could be opposite circles to each other. When you make the circles, let the whole spine relax. So it might be moving your neck and your throat a little bit. Okay, and then go ahead and bend one knee at a time. Roll to your side and please return to your meditation seat. Sometimes when you roll a blanket, it doesn't work as well when you go to sit on it. So you can fold it again to give it the proper support for your hips. And find your seat. Rest your hands out over your knees. As you find your seat, let yourself sit into the pelvis and the hips, into a place of home. Lift the base of your skull gently. And picture your senses now not having to rush out into craving, nor are they having to push the world away in aversion, nor are we punishing ourselves with aversion towards our own experience of our bodies, our minds, our hearts, our thoughts. Notice the quality of your senses and your mind, and also observe your ability to practice affection or appreciation for yourself right now, right in these moments. Please raise your hands to your heart. Now, first acknowledging your sense of sight, you can say thank you to the eyes for everything they've done for you today. May they look more kindly, your eyes, as you look upon yourself. Thank you to the ears for everything they've done for you today. As you listen within, may you hear what is precious and wise within you. And then sensing the nose, the tongue, the skin of your body. I appreciate all 5 senses and your efforts to be here for practice today. Thank you very much for joining us. Namaste. So may your senses feel like they're the right size and the right age, that your senses have come up to your biological age again. You're not lost in childhood craving. You're not lost in craving of the past or aversion from the past. May it feel like your senses have come to the present. They are the right age and the right size for you to take care of yourself wisely and well.